Alright, so today's video is very important, also teaching you facts about many wars in history. One of them, which is the Cold War, which I'm recently learning in history. So today, I'm giving you very interesting facts about the Cold War. Number one was the first atomic bomb of the US. On July 16th of 1945, the US tested the first atomic bomb in Alamogordo, New Mexico. Their atomic bomb was made for two objectives, two purposes. One of which is to end, for a quick end to World War II, and due to the fact that it was possessed by them and not the USSR, it allowed them to control foreign policy. Number two, the authorization of President Truman. In 1947, President Truman authorized the U.S. to aid anti-communist forces in Greece and Turkey. The policy was expanded to justify support for any nation that the U.S. government considered to be threatened by Soviet expansion. This policy, known as Containment Doctrine, was aimed at holding back and restricting the spread of communism worldwide. Containment quickly became the official U.S. policy towards the USSR. In the meantime, the Soviets were building their own atomic bomb. Number three is the Soviet Union detonation. On August 29th of 1949, the Soviet Union detonated its first atomic bomb in Kazakhstan. This event ended America's monopoly of atomic weaponry and made the arms race the focus of the Cold War. So basically, due to the fact that the Soviets detonated their atomic bomb, it started the arms race, which is very interesting. Due to this, both the US and the USSR competed to build more and better nuclear weapons than one another. Number four, the hydrogen bomb. America tested the first hydrogen bomb in 1952, while the USSR, the Soviet Union, tested theirs in 1953. The hydrogen bombs were 2,500 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. So this was also an event that also happened during the arms race. Number five, the political climate. On January of 1954, the Cold War hit a political climate which changed when the U.S. Secretary of State John Foster Dulles announced a policy of massive retaliation. Any attack would be met with a massive nuclear response. As a result, for preparing for massive retaliation, bombs were made way for intercontinental ballistic missiles, or the ICBM. The ICBMs could destroy targets 5,000 miles away. So, 5,000 miles away, that could easily destroy at least 4 or 5 states, depending on the distance. Number six, the Soviet nuclear device. On October of 1961, the Soviet Union detonated a nuclear device estimated about 50 megatons, the equivalent of more than 50 million tons of TNT, or more than all the explosives used during World War II. It is the largest nuclear weapon the world has ever seen at that time. The Tsar Bomba, or the King of Bombs, was detonated after the US and USSR agreed to limit nuclear testing. It was the largest nuclear device ever exploded, which is very wow. Having no strategic military value, Tsar was viewed as an act of intimidation by the Soviets. Number seven, the Cuban Missile Crisis. Cuban Missile Crisis taught both sides that risking nuclear war in pursuit of political objectives was simply too dangerous. It was the last time during the Cold War that either side would take this risk. After the Cuban Missile Crisis, the USSR and the US still fought over control for other parts of the globe. Number eight, the final period of friction. During the early 1980s, between the US and the USSR, there was a final period of friction which resulted mainly from the Soviets' invasion of Afghanistan back in 1979 to establish a communist regime. In 1983, President Ronald Reagan announced the Strategic Defensive Initiative, or the SDI, commonly known as Star Wars, and not the series which clearly sucked. SDI was envisioned as a satellite-based nuclear defense system, which would destroy incoming lasers and warheads in space by shooting them down with lasers, which is basically the start of laser technology. Cool. Number nine, the Soviet Union. Again, on August 1985, the Soviet Union announced a nuclear testing moratorium December 1987, Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev and U.S. President Reagan signed the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces, the first arms accord signed by both Moscow and Washington that called for the elimination of an entire class of weapons, intermediate range missiles. And finally, the signing of the Strategic Arms Reduction. The United States, and the Soviet Union signed the Strategic Arms Reduction on July of 1991. So this probably was the end of the arms race. All right, final one, the Federal Republic of Germany. In 1952, the members agreed to admit Greece and Turkey to NATO and added the Federal Republic of Germany, which is Western Germany, in 1995. West Germany entry led the Soviet Union to retaliate with its own regional alliance, which took the form of the Warsaw Treaty Organization and included the Soviet Union, Albania, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania, and the German Democratic Republic as members. If there was a war, alliances were firmly established for the superpowers. One of them is North America, so far. And my very final one, the military doctrines of NATO. In the 1950s, one of the first military doctrines of NATO emerged in the form of massive retaliation, or the idea if any member were attacked, the United States would respond with a large-scale nuclear attack. NATO has lasted beyond the end of the Cold War, with membership even expanding to include some former Soviet states. It remains that the largest peacetime military alliance in the world. Alright, so that's it. This is the end of the video, and I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you want me to do more history facts or anything, just leave them in the comments down below. I made this video to just do something different, like an educational part of my channel, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Like I said, if you still want me to do any more history videos or anything educational, if you got any facts for me, I will do that in another video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.